Greetings, it's Dr. Jeffrey Scott. This is my Market MRI Pro update for March 12, 2025. As the markets were rallying at the open, I started thinking of the Braveheart movie with Mel Gibson as he was standing with his horde of barbarians fighting the well-dressed soldiers of the British Empire. And as he was trying to tactically wait until the British were closer for one of their moves, and he's yelling at his army, wait, wait, wait. Kind of felt like that was the message for the market today. Waiting. Did we get a follow through today? We're going to take a look, but I think that's a major question because that's what I'm looking for to start going deeper in the market. Now, cut to the chase. Do I think we had a follow through today? No. Did I buy some things? Yes. The session's for educational purposes only. Any recommendation of the spirit of education, not investment advice. The intent of the video is to demonstrate the tools of top-down analysis, how I apply them. Trading involves risk. You are solely responsible for any investment decisions you make. I may own or intend to buy or sell any stock mentioned in this report. Trading stocks and options should be considered risky and should consult with your financial advisor before making trades. I have tools in multiple platforms, but consider myself to be an independent trader. If you like the wealth charts videos, I'm going to have time tonight, so I'll be doing one and posting it in the morning at stocksanddocs.com. That's another platform that I'm happy to be participating with. The live meeting is, as I mentioned, we moved it to the Residence Inn, which is right next door to the Fairfield Suites. This is the low budget meeting. It's about $300, could be $400. I haven't seen the final price, but usually it's $300. It's about 20 of us sitting in a room. I bring some friends to teach and trade with, and we just have I've been doing it for years. It used to be George Lee's meeting. We've carried it on in his honor and memory. Hope to see some of you there. Greg Mills at GAM72054 at AOL.com. I should have some names of speakers very soon. Join my Google group. If you like these videos, you want my intraday comment, my nightly videos even when I don't post them on YouTube. Plus, hey, you'll get alerted when I post them. Go to Google Groups, look for Top Down Trader, tell me how you want to be notified. And oh, by the way, it's free. And if you join and if you're interested in buying my platform, you'll get a $100 off coupon for being part of Top Down Trader. I showed this over the weekend. This was Charlie Biello who called out the site Truflation. And Truflation is an independent predictor of inflation. And it has been pretty good at calling inflation. And notice what's happened the last month. Inflation has dropped hard, and they're seeing a real inflation right now of like 1.3%. Now, we saw on the CPI on Wednesday, not that low, but inflation came in light. What if PPI comes in light? What if inflation has abated, even with all the talk of tariffs? What if the Fed starts to become more dovish? So as much as it's easy to be bearish this market, don't be too bearish. And then lastly, don't forget your news. On Thursday, we've got jobless claims, producer prices, and we've got consumer sentiment. So a lot of market moving things coming out at 8:30. Consumer sentiment is Friday. The rest of it's on Thursday. Still have a bunch of earnings. You saw there was some earnings that came out on Wednesday night, including Adobe. So there'll be plenty of market moving stuff. Intel was up 10% on a new CEO. Adobe was down 3.7. UiPath down 16%. American Eagle down 5%. A10 down 10%. So we got a lot of things to the downside, but Intel going to the upside. It's a judgment call to hold stocks over earnings dates. It's bad judgment to not know when your stock's earnings date is scheduled. So let's go take a look at the program. Now, I created this program for the sole purpose to make my life easy, to allow me to quickly, in 20 minutes or less, get a good understanding of the market. And if I want to look for stocks to buy, to find some leading candidates. So we start with my market timing model. It has been negative on the weekly. It's going to take some move up to change. And you can see it remains weekly on all the major ETFs. This is what's interesting me here. The 13-month new high, new low is getting to an area that we expect a reversal. This is looking at the Q. Same thing here on the Russell. Not quite so much on the spiders and the diamonds, but we are getting signs of getting close to a reversal. The daily one will flip much quicker, and let's see if the daily model shows anything that suggests a change. And you could see the hard sell-off. You're going to have to get above the yellow line to switch. Nowhere close. All right, now let's go look at the daily briefing to see how the markets did. And we could see here the Qs were up 1.13, the spiders 0.53, the Russell 0.17. The only thing down was the diamonds modestly at 0.19, and the VIX was down 5.22. Things except for the VIX, which finished at the bottom of the range, the majority of things finished in the middle of their range. Although we did see some new highs early in the day, the new high minus new lows still are very negative. And as I point out, new bulls are not based upon more new lows. If you look at the one-day move in the S&P sectors, it was led, and this was a disappointment. The market was so powerful, especially early. Tech was up 1.5, discretionary 0.58, communications 0.5, energy 0.46, and finances 0.15. Everything else was down. So those defensive plays that had been rotating, the healthcare staples, real estate utilities, were some of the leaders to the downside. If I look at some of the themes that did well, silver miners, semiconductors, tech software, biotech, cannabis, blockchain, artificial intelligence. It feels like tech is back in style. One day wonder or something to build upon. And over here just gives a sense of how weak the market was. That the gray bar represents yesterday, so you could see there were more sectors up. Probably 3 out of 11 were up today. 35% of the industries, this is the S&P 1500, and 39% of the stocks. On the NASDAQ, it's a lot better. Look at the number of sectors and industry groups up, and you could see 57% advances. And then if you look at the NYSE, it's sort of in between. 50% of the sectors were up, 43% of the industries, and 50% of the stocks. If I go and I look at the US index ETFs, we can see white, which is up bars on, let's see what's up. Let's pop it out. All right, now let me expand this thing and let's take a look at the S&P. So it broke down through long-term support on the 200. Still looks pretty ugly in my opinion. Whoops, too much playing with my little wheel here. When I looked at this over the weekend, I gave a 3-road scenario. I kind of thought we'd run into resistance, and the question is, do we fail here? Do we fail at the 50, or do we break out? I think any of those are possible. We haven't gotten to that point yet. You could see on the 20th, on the 12th, on Wednesday, the spider is showing here plus 0.18%. So to me, still lower highs, not much change on the lows, still in a downtrend, not that compelling yet, at least in my opinion. Now we know the NASDAQ outperformed, so let's take a look at the Qs. And we can see a little bit stronger day with a little bit of a bottoming tail, but really the same story. So this one was up 1.13, but I don't see higher volume on the day. I see lower volume, and that means no follow-through day. Now, this is still in a downtrend, so I'm not calling this over on that basis. The diamonds, we could be over. We could get a low PPI and a big rally. And the diamonds, the same thing. The diamonds were actually down in the market, 0.19. All of these three are going to have to get above that 200-day moving average before they go higher. Right now, they're still in a downtrend. And then let's look at the Russell. Russell was up in the market. Now, the Russell had a doji on Tuesday and traded up on Wednesday, up 0.17. Still a downtrend. Going to have to take out this high before I even think about it. I hope it's a new uptrend. I hope it goes higher, but I don't trade my portfolio on hope. The VIX didn't do much in the market on Wednesday. The VIX was actually down 6%, and the dollar continues to be very supportive of the market. And let me bring this over here, and trading at kind of recent lows. And you can see today on Wednesday was up 0.25. Looking at commodities, the dollar was up, so that might dictate some of what we're going to see here. So we're going to start with gold over silver. And you can see gold up a little bit in the market, up 0.64. Silver looks even better, up 0.99. Oil even rebounded, 1.7, and natural gas came back some. It was down 7%, 6.2%. Now, why do I think gold is up, silver's up, oil's up, and oh yeah, by the way, the 10-year was up 0.7 and 0.78 on the 30. I think these are all up because people are starting to believe the economy is not crashing. And that PPI tomorrow is going to be critical, but the CPI on Wednesday showed we're not having more inflation. So I think that was a relief rally in those entities. I look at buckets to give me a sense of massive overbought, oversold, has to bounce, and we won't see any of that. And you could see that the current buckets below have come off. Now we're clearly a bearish footprint with most of the stocks in the lower half of their Bollinger Bands, but we've come off the extreme bearish of the last several sessions. Market breadth on Wednesday, of course, I didn't do a video on Wednesday. We saw a bingo, and a bingo is a baby out with the bathwater day, and it often precedes a low. So we had the baby out with the bathwater day, and then we had the nice on the NASDAQ composite was up a bit in the market as the NYSE looks like it was either flat or down a bit. So I put all this together, no follow through day. I said I bought. Why? Because we were up more than 1% on the NASDAQ, and certain things like Robinhood is one of the things I bought. I decided to buy a little bit of Amazon early in the day as well. Just started nibbling on some of these beaten up stocks. And we'll see if I have to sell them tomorrow or if the market gaps up and I'm happy about it. Ratio charts give me a sense of sector leadership. And you can see Staples ran up and is weak in the last couple of hours, sessions. Staples, utilities, real estate, and healthcare all look the same as the market, at least short term, has rotated away from some of the defensive plays. Energy, much better. Communications remain strong. Even technology is turning up a bit. It's got a long ways to go. And then I get to my favorite window, which is the layout model. And this is where I start to go hunting for stocks, whether for top down or for bottoms up. Now, I'm going to be very careful, and I'm not looking to go all in until I see a follow through day or go in much more than I am. But I can look from a top down perspective, and I can rank by change for the day, perhaps, and we could see we were led by communication services, technology, and energy. So now I've got 903 stocks, which are the components of 3 of the best performing sectors. Now, I could rank them perhaps by 2-day momentum and start looking at them one at a time. FICO. Now, interestingly, the first stock takes a while. After that, it's much quicker. ServiceNow, these have been sold off hard. Netflix had a big session. Spotify crossing the 50, that looks interesting. Groupon, CrowdStrike. So I can go one to another. Here's another fast grower. Let's look at AppLovin's fundamentals. So it has major growth on EPS and revenue. Its last earnings were $2.12. This propelled it to the last gap up before it crapped. It doesn't pay a dividend. This might be something that's interesting down here, APP. Then I could just keep going down this list until I get tired. Syncross and Technology, CyberArk, Hubs. Meta looks like it's getting ready to run or started running in the market. So one could go through this entire list to see if you can find anything that's attractive. Now, that's not a bad way of looking. Another thing I could do is say I'm interested in communication services. These are the industry groups, and maybe I'll rank and pick the top industry groups. And we would look at internet content and broadcasting. And you got 55 stocks, and some of these we saw in the last group: Spotify, Groupon, Meta, Reddit. This is what a lot of the leaders have done. Pretty hard pullbacks down to the 200 and a bounce. What I like about it is, where's the place you expect them to bounce? The 200. That's a good thing. Some of these might be interesting here. I think I like App a little bit more. DoorDash, SSP. I like buying things breaking out to new highs. I don't expect to see a whole lot of those with the market where it's at. Now, I had a question about how do I maybe import your watch list? And what you would do, let me make sure that's the question. I'm going to go look at the text. It's from the person I knew would be one of the first people to buy the product. The question was, how do I load my portfolio? Why don't we call your portfolio my positions and import from files. And then you need to just create a text file. This is one way to do it. This is the way I do it. I put everything, I pretty much live in my Dropbox. And by living in my Dropbox, I know where everything is, and I could always find it in the right place. So if I look inside Dropbox, I always have a file dated the current Sunday. And if I look inside that, it's going to show me some files. And let's say you were the high relative strength stocks list. You click on that, there's 300 stocks there. I hope you don't have 300 positions. And then it pops up here. It will write to your disk on this machine. And when you restart it tomorrow, it will be there. So that's how I find or import stuff. So we looked at two ways of looking at the market. Another way is to say, all right, I got a lot of industry groups. Let's look at 2-day momentum and what's best, and maybe put in the top 5. And so I've got 56 stocks. They're ranked by 2-day momentum. And so I could start going through Talent Energy, IESC, GE Vernova. I made money on the last round. Not sure if I'm ready to go back in. EME. Again, we've been in a tough market. All these things have sold off. Vistra Corp. This is one that if data centers are going to be a big deal, this has pretty amazing fundamentals. Look at the growth rate the last 2 quarters over the prior year's quarter. Both revenue, it pays a small dividend. I've liked VST. It's kind of interesting to buy it down here because you could just put your stock under the 200. So one wouldn't expect to see a lot of great things breaking out, new leaders yet. That's what I look for when after the follow-through day. Right now, I see a lot of things that have pulled back, some that are probably buyable, like PAM. But that's what we're seeing. The other thing to look at is what about bottoms up? Why don't I take the entire list here, 3478? Let's scan it. Let's look for something different today. Let's look for pullbacks and uptrend. Let's look for the multi-time frame CPR buy. I want price above 500. Volume 500, price above 5. I want that weekly bond go up, which it'll be there above the 200 MA. Hit OK. And these are the stocks that come to the list. Just see if any of them look interesting. CXM, Sprinkler Technology, series of higher highs and higher lows. Pull back here on the market on Wednesday, broke out above the 200, the 50, and the 17. Ignore the extended. It's just above the moving averages. Look at the massive volume. And and a CPR. The EMS is changing, and then 4 dots. That looks interesting from the perspective of a cheap stock. EBR, eh. Groupon, this is where I like to not see the names because I might look at it differently. Mitsubishi Bank, nice uptrend, pullback, and a breakout. A lot of people say to be looking at foreign stocks here, so that might be interesting. And then Nokia will be the last one. So I've developed a number of scans that are built into the program. We are talking to some great educators and indicator people, and we look forward to bringing them onto the platform. This is about quick and easy. I looked from a top-down perspective. I spend a lot of time looking at the market. I looked at the sectors, and I looked at some leading stocks in the industries. Hope you have a great day in the market. And as I said in the introduction, wait for it. Wait for it. You can do some nibbling, but I'm waiting for that follow through day. Have a great day on Thursday. We'll see you Thursday night. Hope you like these videos. Give me feedback. Thank you.